How's everybody doing today? Welcome back to Boys in the Zone. I am EJ Savage, and today we're discussing State of the East, All NFC East defensive team, and PFF's top teams. So without further ado, let's jump into it. First team we're going to be discussing is the New York Giants. So they got Daniel Jones, Tyrod Taylor backing him up, Saquon Barkley, Isaiah Hodgins, Darius Slayton, Paris Campbell rounding out their wide receiver group, Darren Waller and Daniel Bellinger as the tight ends, Andrew Thomas, uh, Bredson, John Michael Schmitz, Mark Glowinski, and Evan Neal. So a pretty solid little line that they're building up there with Andrew Thomas, John Michael Schmitz, and Evan Neal. Then we're going to go to their defense real quick. Ashawn Robinson was a pickup that they got from the Rams. Dexter Lawrence, who's really been coming on. Leonard Williams, Kayvon Thibodeau, the second-year pass rusher out of Oregon. Bobby Okereke from the Colts. Darian Beavers, I believe he was from Cincinnati. Aziz Ozolari, third-year pass rusher from Georgia. Adoree Jackson, Jason Pinnock, Xavier McKinney, who's a good player, and then Deontay Banks. Just highlighting a few of these players here. Um, I think that Danny Dimes he could possibly get up there and solidify himself as a top 15 quarterback. I personally already believe that he is there, but just around the NFL circle, see if he can really get better as a pure pocket passer. He has the ability with his legs. Some people call him Vanilla Vic. I mean, he's got a lot of qualities, and I just want to see what Brian Dable has to show him, and just because he's got a good foundation. If he can get the other building blocks to really get there, I think he can be one of the better quarterbacks in the league. You talk about Saquon Barkley, he's definitely already there. He's easily a top 10 running back in the league. Their wide receiver group needs some help. I mean, they've got a lot of slot guys. I mean, just slot guys. Listen to this: Darius Slayton, Wandale Robinson, Jalen Hyatt, Jamison Crowder, Sterling Shepard. That's what was that? Darius Slayton, Wandale, five guys that are slot receivers. Really, I mean, their biggest guys, Isaiah Hodgins, and the Bills just released him, I believe, last year. So Paris Campbell's not a bad wide receiver. Need to see something from him to solidify himself as a top 30, 40 guy. Then Darren Waller, he was a really good pickup from the Raiders. I'm expecting him to be utilized in the red zone a lot. But we'll see if this team shifts more towards a passing offense, a passing attack. Then you're talking about Andrew Thomas, easily one of the best tackles in the league now. John Michael Schmitz, a guy that I really liked out of Minnesota in the draft process. And then Evan Neal, the second-year tackle out of Alabama. Expecting some good things out of him. Like I mentioned earlier, Dexter Lawrence really been coming on with the pass rushing ability. He was already a good nose tackle, already a good just run stuffing defensive tackle, but we'll see if he can build off that last year. Leonard Williams, he's a solid player. And then going down, Deontay Banks is another guy that I just wanted to highlight. He was out of Maryland. I really liked him. I just thought that he could play the zone. He could play man, play with his back to the ball. He's a physical corner, not afraid to hit. And I just thought that was an excellent pick from the Giants. And then, yeah, Graham Gano, super solid kicker as well. Going on to the Commanders, we got Sam Howell. We need to see what Sam Howell has. Honestly, he's got a good core here. I mean, listen to this. Listen to the skill positions here for the Commanders: Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson for your running backs, Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, and Diami Brown for your wide receivers. Logan Thomas needs to stay healthy, but one of the better tight ends in the league. And then he has a decent offensive line. So if those guys can give him enough time, and Sam Howell has some legs, he's got three solid wide receivers to throw to. I mean, you're talking about Terry McLaurin, easily a top 12 wide receiver in my book. Jahan Dotson was a red zone monster last year. And then Curtis Samuel, if you get him the ball in the open field, he can make something happen. So the Commanders' offense is a little bit slept on. Going on to the defense, we got Chase Young, needs to stay healthy. Deron Payne, the best, undoubtedly, defensive tackle in the NFC East, in my opinion. Then you got Jonathan Allen, another player that could have made my all-defensive NFC East team, but just missed it. Montez Sweat, pretty solid defensive end there. Then you talk about Davis, the third-year player out of Kentucky. He was a player I was high on. He's just got to continue to get reps, continue to grow as a player. And then you got, sorry, there's a little gnat right there. And then you've got Emmanuel Forbes, a player that if you watched any of the shows that I guest starred on, super, super high corner on my board. I just thought that with the things in front of him, he had the drive, he had the ability in the athleticism to make plays on the ball. Um, he was just, he was elite as far as getting his hand on the ball and making a play out of thin air. Just, I mean, I think that he led all of football during his career at the college level in interception touchdowns. Going on to the Philadelphia Eagles. Sorry, I just glossed completely over. Tress Way and Joey Sly, both respected special teams kicker and punter. Very, very good. Tress Way is one of the very best. Had to highlight that. Going on to the Eagles. Jalen Hurts, undoubtedly a top 10 quarterback now. DeAndre Swift, and Rashad Penny for that matter. I mean, those two guys, if they could stay healthy, they honestly probably could be a top 15-ish running back. AJ Brown, top 10. Wide receiver, Devontae Smith, I would put him in the top 17. Um, I just think that he needs to get a little bit more opportunities, but who knows if that's going to come with AJ Brown. And I haven't really ever seen him completely take over a game where he was a possession receiver, where he was just getting a bunch of different catches. He seems more like a um, toe drag swag kind of like a Michael Gallup. And yes, their games are completely different, but I'm just saying is what they would have is they would have the four catches for um, 89 to 100 and something yards because of um, they're just savvy against the sidelines and stuff like that. So I want to see him just just be a better down in down out wide receiver. And that's no hate. I really do like Devontae Smith. And then you got Watkins, who's a deep threat for the Eagles last year. Need to see him protect the ball a little bit more and just be a little bit more reliable. But he's solid. Dallas Goddard, you're talking about one of the best best run blocking tight ends and then pass catching tight ends in the league. You got Jordan Mailata, who's a very very good left tackle, if not one of the better ones in the league. Landon Dickerson, pretty good. Jason Kelsey, very good. Cam Jurgens, decent. And then Lane Johnson, one of the best, if not the best, right tackle in the league. Going on to their defense, we got Brandon Graham, Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, and Josh Sweat is their um, base four on the line. Probably we'll see Hassan Reddick up there instead of Josh Sweat or Brandon Graham, whichever the two. Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox are getting old, but they're still both productive players. You got Jordan Davis going in there as a full-time starter this year, so that's going to be interesting to see. And Jalen Carter right there behind him. I'm looking towards those two guys on the same, playing alongside each other a lot. Um, then you got Nicholas Morrow, who came over from the Bears, I believe. Nakobe Dean, he's going to be a first-time starter for Georgia as well. I liked him coming out of the draft last year. Hassan Reddick, one of the undoubtedly best pass rushers in the league. James Bradbury and Darius Slay, one of the better duos in the league as well. Going to Dallas here, Dak Prescott, top 10 quarterback. Tony Pollard, top 10 running back. CeeDee Lamb, top 10 wide receiver right there. Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup round out that wide receiver group. That's very good. We'll see if we can get anything out of Jalen Tolbert. Then you got Kayvonte Turpin out of there for punt and kick returns. Jake Ferguson, Peyton Hendershot, and Luke Schoonmaker round out your tight end group. Tyron Smith, Tyler Biotish, Zach Martin, and Terrence Steele are your offensive line. If I was going to rate the offensive line, just because of the questions with uh, Tyron Smith and Terrence Steele, and then you factor in what happens with Tyler Smith. Was he really that good? Is he going to have a little bit more growing pains? Who knows? I would rank the Cowboys as the third best offensive line behind the Eagles and behind the Giants. But as far as just top 5 go, they are pretty solid. It just depends on the injuries. Then you go to the defense. This is where the Cowboys really, really pick it up. Demarcus Lawrence, one of the best run stuffing edges in the league. Mozzie Smith and Osa Odigizua, super athletic, strong defensive tackles. Micah Parsons speaks for himself. Two-time All-Pro now. Leighton Vander Esch, much better last year than the year prior. Damone Clark, we're going to see him with a full year, full offseason and what he can do. Then you got one of the better safety groups in the league, Jaron Kearse, Donovan Wilson, and Malik Hooker. Throw in Israel Mukwamu. Very, very good. Talking about a corner group that's very good as well. Stephon Gilmore, Trayvon Diggs, Jordan Lewis, and Deron Bland. Very, very good. Two slot guys is your second guy, or third and fourth guys, but we'll see. We saw a little bit of Bland on the outside last year. But yeah, you just can't have somebody get hurt. Stephon Gilmore, very, very noteworthy addition to this team. You're talking about a Cowboys defense that was riddled with injuries in the cornerback room last year and guys that just couldn't cover anybody. So a much needed addition in Stephon Gilmore. Then you go to Brian Anger as the punter and Kevontae Turpin, as I mentioned earlier. Two very good players as well. Now going on, we're going to get to these PFF charts right here. So PFF has Dak as a top 10 quarterback, like I said. Tony Pollard, CeeDee Lamb, Zach Martin, Micah Parsons, Stephon Gilmore, and Trayvon Diggs. As far as cornerback duos in the league, I believe that the Cowboys have the best cornerback duo. The only one possibly possibly better. Let's just say that. Possibly the Dolphins with Ramsey and Howard. Jets. I'm not fully on the Sauce Gardner train completely. That he's the best, hands down, corner in the league, but we will see. Zach Martin's the best guard in the league. I completely agree. Micah Parsons is number 2. Kind of wondering who they have as number 1, but only time will tell as they continue to drop these lists. And just for comparison, Cowboys had 7 of those guys. Am I not on my bookmarks? Apparently not. Okay. Here are the Eagles. They have 8 players, and the only one that I personally am kind of iffy about is Jordan Mailata. Not because he's not a good player, but this is just tackles straight up. It's not left tackles or right tackles. It's just tackles in general. Like if they had him number 9 or number 10, I feel like I'd feel a little bit better about it. But number 6, wow, that's high praise. And then just for reference, if you watched episode 2 last week, the 49ers, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Trent Williams, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, and Dre Greenlaw. They have 7. So as far as NFL teams that they've dropped, I think that they've dropped these 3, and then also the Chiefs, which had like 5, and I think they had 3 separate players at the best in their position. So Travis Kelce, Creed Humphrey, and Patrick Mahomes, and then they had Chris Jones as number 2. So you can see PFF is very high on these 3 teams for the NFC. I completely agree. That's why I highlighted them last week, and I'll continue to do so. I just think that this is the 3-headed monster as far as the NFC has to offer. AFC is a lot more stacked and a lot more iffy with who's going to get there for the Super Bowl, and just a bunch of different stuff. So pulling up this all defensive team for the NFC East, we have for the corners we have Gilmore, Slay, and Diggs. I think that those are undoubtedly and unquestionably the best 3 corners in the division. Then we got Hassan Reddick and Micah Parsons in there for the edges. We have Dexter Lawrence there for the Giants, and of course Deron Payne. I spoke on him earlier. We have LVE and Jamin Davis for the linebackers. Linebacker group in the division is a little bit iffy, but these are the top 2 guys, in my opinion, as far as what they have done in their career and what they could be in their career continuing on next year. I think Davis is primed to have a breakout season, per se. Jaron Kearse, I had him just barely edging out Donovan Wilson just because of the coverage ability. And then Xavier McKinney as the top free safety for the division. I just feel like this group, if you put these guys on the same defense, this would be extremely deep. And I mean, it looks like a Pro Bowl roster, in my opinion. So, yeah, let me know what you think about that. And if you'd switch up any of these guys, I had 2 Eagles players, 2 Giants players, 2 Commanders players, and I had 5 Cowboys players. I was trying to keep the homerism out of it, but it's so hard with our defense, man. They are so, so good this year. And let me get this back off the screen so you can see me. Look, guys, this is a quick video. Had to run through it a little bit. It's 10:20 at night tonight, and I got an early day tomorrow. But if you liked the video, please leave a like below. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. It helps me out, and I just like talking about this stuff. If you like talking Dallas Cowboys stuff, or if you like talking trash, even if you're the Eagles fan, Commanders, Giants, whatever, give me a like at least. I'm down for some trash talk in the comments, whatever. But anyways, without further ado, thank you for watching. And if you have not subscribe, follow my Twitter channel, Boys in the Zone. It's right there to the right of your screen. I appreciate it. Thanks. Bye bye.